Ashley, I teased a chat thread from our Facebook group earlier today with news that they were gonna adore. Maybe the happiest thing in my life since my marriage happened this past week. So I am rewatching Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, with my twins for the first time. And afterwards, we finished one episode, whichever one it was, I think episode 3 maybe. And about that time, my 18-year-old walked in and I'm like, hey, we're supposed to watch Interview tonight, right? He's like, yeah, let's get it in. Because he was leaving early this week. He's in LSU, at LSU this whole week, doing like getting ready for freshman year stuff.
Oh,
I know, how exciting, right? Which, by the way,
crazy.
well, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, he's high in the running for, most beloved child now since he's been adoring this TV show and everything.
Yes.
However, we start talking about we're going to watch this show. So my older 12-year-old, my older twin is sitting on the couch and I'm like, hey, you can stay in here if you want to, especially because you're going to be playing on your phone or falling asleep, which she ended up doing. I said, but I do want to warn you, it's a fairly inappropriate and adult show we're going to have. It's like bloody and violent sometimes. I think this episode in particular has some violence in it. And, gay ass vampires.
Be mentally and emotionally prepared.
At which moment, my younger twin, my younger 12-year-old, slides into the room sideways and goes, gay ass vampires, snap, snap. And I'm like, okay. And listen, first of all, if you want to get in the running for favorite child, you're doing it right, kiddo. I appreciate
Everyone's killing it. Everyone's killing it right now.
I said, I don't know, man. You're 12 and a half and like, this is a very grown up TV show. Maybe we're not ready. I said, but listen, there are books and I was your age when I read the first book. And she said, are there audiobooks? And I said, I own the audiobooks. Let me go bring me your phone. And so we set up the Audible app and we downloaded Interview with the Vampire. And my Nola is reading Interview with the Vampire or having it read to her. She's listening to the audiobook right now. I don't know how far she is in yet. She came home from school the first day after this, and she had listened like 45 minutes or an hour or something. And she was like, it's so good. Which she hadn't gotten to any of the vampire part yet, right? It was just the flowery language of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
She was specifically telling me about how the priest was trying to explain to Louis that wasn't God that was speaking to his brother. And I was like, oh, because he hears the voices in his head. And she's like, yep. And I'm like, okay, man. All right. Good stuff. And look,
oh my God,
maybe it won't hit for her. First of all, that's not where I started. I started with the preamble to Tale of the Body Thief. So like,
I don't
also
know.
she's not me, but
she's starting right where she started. I love it.
She did start the journey. Also, she effectively demanded, and Kelly finally suggested, she was like, can you just show her like a trailer for the show? And I had to be careful because the Apple TV app and the AMC app both make it basically impossible to watch a season 1 trailer. It's all trailers for season 2. And now there's a lot of promotion, obviously, for season 3. But finally, I went on YouTube and I had never seen this particular trailer. I think this was maybe for the Netflix release because it includes footage from the entire season, although it was very artfully, like, not revealing about the twists and turns. But a great trailer for season 1. And as soon as it started, she gets her first good look at Sam Reed and she goes, that is a man. That's a pretty, and I was like, I paused it because very famously in our family anyway, like 2 weeks ago, she taught us all the word Neptunic, which I'd never heard before. That's how she describes herself. She says, I'm into women and non-binary people. Basically anybody but men. And I'm like, you know what? Me too, sister. Actually, good on you. Anyway, but I jokingly said, oh, so you're Neptunic and whatever Sam Reed is. And, Sam Reed counts. And she said, yeah, maybe. I said, he is a very pretty man. There's no doubt about it, baby girl.
Well, and I mean, we literally just watched the trailer for for season 3 for the Vampire Lestat right before I got on here because Brett was like, "Have you watched this yet?" I was like, "Of course I have watched this." I said, "But I haven't watched it on the big screen yet." So he was like, "This is incredible." So we pop it up and we were watching it. He's like, I was like, "Man, that man is incredible." He was like, I do not like I forget how he said it, but it was like something about like not really in life does he enjoy a person who thinks this much of themselves, but man, he loves a fucking self-absorbed character that is like something so juicy and delicious like that. He's like, that character is just incredible. And I was like, that man is possessed of this vampire.
Yes, there's so many of our favorite, and this, it's one of the reasons why I think actually this might hit for Nola is because she very much is into fiction that involves complex main characters, who in real life in real life this person would ruin your life, and you know that, and it's fine.
Yeah,
That's why we're enjoying it in the fiction, because it is escapist.
exactly.
And it allows us to live out some of the one that Judah always jokes about is Anne's fantasies that she often mentioned about killing in graphic ways drug dealers, right? Cartel leaders and stuff. She talked about this several times in public and in paper and on Facebook. And you're like, okay, lady. But then she would have Lestat do it, not once, but like a few times in the books. And anyway, that's okay to live out those sorts of fantasies in fiction. That's what you're supposed to do, in fact.
God only knows what Stephen King would like to be doing in his spare time.
So, y'all, the kids are all right down here is what I'm trying to say.
I love it. I'm so happy.
2 of them are angling for an inheritance that doesn't exist, so good on them. Welcome to the Articulate Coven, the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Immortal Universe. The Articulate Coven is Ashley and Joel, but it's supported by listeners just like you. Find out more at articulatecoven.com/join.
I love it. I love it. You'll have to keep us posted on the book journey.
We absolutely will. We absolutely will. All right. We are the Articulate Coven, the original unofficial fan podcast for Anne Rice. We're your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Tonight, we are going to be discussing episode 206 of Interview with the Vampire. Like the Light, which God made the world before he made light. A too damn long title, but also a brilliant line, and brilliantly used in the context of the episode, I thought, too.
Absolutely.
Just when you think you've wrung all of the theater kid angst out of this season that you can, they give us a whole episode, basically, about it.
Well, and I think that part of this feels like they were like, let's just really let this man show off his chops as an actor. And the layers of it, of the fact that he's playing Santiago, who's playing a character, who's also running a scam, and setting a trap. And having a conversation outside of the monologue the scene he's performing on stage. This man is incredible. I to this day, I have never experienced a turnaround on a character the way that I have done on Santiago because of this portrayal. Like, I'm going to reread this book with a different opinion about Santiago.
Yeah. Santiago has really been, I mean, I don't know what you, I don't know how you would even describe this, what he's done to the character. I mean, I suppose it's akin to, I started to mention him earlier because we were talking about, terrible characters that would destroy your life in real life, but you do enjoy them on the page. Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates movies, right?
Oh.
Nobody would want a Captain Jack Sparrow to show up, right? This would be, first of all, you'd all just end up hung. However, and not like literally hung by a rope. But
not in a fun way.
Not in a fun way. But also though, it's delightful on film. I think a similar thing there. Pirates of the Caribbean the idea of them making a movie about Pirates of the Caribbean was silly. It was like, are you gonna do It's a Small World next? Like, what? Okay, great. It's like when they said they did a Battleship movie. That one actually happened too. That one was not the success that Pirates was.
That
But
Pirates was.
but Pirates succeeded so much, it became a whole franchise
Mhm.
because of this incredible, interesting character, right? Santiago on the page is just a cipher for your angst and anger. Armand is a fully fleshed character that she intends to
Mhm.
revisit, and it's obvious even in his early scenes.
Yeah.
Louis is your main character, and at least at that point, she's thinking maybe that's the whole story, et cetera, et cetera. We've already seen how broad Lestat is and like what we know we're going to get from him eventually, because he is just Stan on the page
Right.
as the perfect fictional hero. And then you've got Santiago. Santiago's just supposed to be a bad guy, but
Yeah.
fuck, he's so good. He's
He's
so
so
good.
good.
Okay, let's start at the beginning though for a minute. How did I get the tapes? I love this opening with Rashid
I do
and Daniel
too. I
back at the
love this
restaurant.
scene. Yes, yes. I love this scene. It's so excellent.
Okay,
Mm.
Judah called my attention to it here. It's something I think you and I have talked about, but so often we've discussed Daniel's boldness and how he has nothing to lose because
Mhm.
he's terminal, so he's just out here swinging it. It's clear he says it even to Raglan once he shows up. I don't want to die. He sees the danger before him.
Yeah.
He thought he had this whole situation triangulated.
He's like, I might be
And
fucked here.
not only did he not have it triangulated, but he doesn't know where Louis is at currently, mentally and emotionally about all of this. He and Louis have this revelation, and then Armand shows back up, and Louis has not said anything out loud about it.
Yeah. Also, turns out both these guys tried to kill me in the 70s.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
not just one of them, but both of them tried to
I
kill me.
needed,
And
I
one of them
needed,
tortured me for days. Please get me out of here. SOS, Talamasca, SOS.
um, can you protect me from being killed? No, I'm afraid
No,
not. We're very bad at keeping our assets safe. Um,
they're terrible at it. They can't even keep their
yeah.
own agents safe.
Okay. There is a great line here from Raglan. If I could swap bodies with you, I'd be
Oh,
running the order by now.
well,
Oh boy, could you really? Okay, first of all, I sort of like that it implies that he can't swap bodies with Daniel currently. And why is that, I wonder? Um, yeah, I hope, Lord, I hope that we get more adventures from Raglan James
oh,
somewhere in the Immortal
God,
Universe.
please, 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 please. They've set it up
Um,
so well. It would be a shame
yeah,
to not get there.
they really did. Okay, where we had a medley at the beginning of last episode with Louis and Armand playing each other's, bass lines.
Mhm.
Now we have constant discord on every question. Louis disagrees. I think it's so. I'm mad at both of them on a regular basis now, Louis and Armand, at being
Yes.
passive aggressive, because I'm like, just out with it, fool. You are not hiding anything from anyone here. He clearly knows you're pissed at him. Y'all just said you talked about San Francisco. At some point, that motherfucker is going to say, you've remembered now.
Right.
Anyway,
It's
why not just say it? Why not just call him out?
No, because that's not how any of these characters communicate. They would have to be honest with themselves and with their partner in order to have a conversation like that. And who's going to give up the power? Does If I'm the one that asks, am I the one that gives up the power even though I'm the one that knows? Like here's this thing, is he trying to make him to like needle a confession out of him? Like when you're in a bad relationship and you don't communicate well, when you're just like needling your partner and saying little things that you are trying to start the argument or trying to bring the situation to a head.
Just two people picking scabs back and forth,
It's
right?
so bad. It's so bad.
There's a line that I missed from Louis earlier when they're talking about the art choice for the bare wall now
Oh,
that they've sold the big painting.
that's a
He
good
says,
scene.
leave it bare then. Wait for Revelation to enter the room. And I'm like, Revelation has entered the room, sir. You should announce it.
Yeah.
Ting, ting.
Nope.
Welcome to the room, Revelation.
Nope. It turns out, like, if everyone just spoke honestly about their feelings, these would not be an interesting series of books.
So often I say during my Dark Shadows reactions on our YouTube channel and for our patrons, I say some version of, if they just passed a Post-it note, right? Just pass a Post-it note
Right.
and this would
Right.
all be solved.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
67 before Post-it notes? Probably so. Maybe just pass a note card then. There were note cards.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. A scrap of paper with your emotions. Please
Okay.
check yes or no. Even that. Even an elementary school note. Are you mad at me? Check yes or no. Do you like me? Check yes or no. Are you setting me up to be murdered in front of the entire Coven and audience of people? Check yes or no.
As pissed off as Daniel is, I believe, at Real Rashid, once he realizes that he's Talamasca as well, once he gets back to the hotel, he still digs in further at Armand. He says to Rashid, a little more vermouth next time, Rashid. Oh, I can make you another one. No, it's good. It's just his were better.
Yeah.
And he nods at Armand. Again, first of all, we talked about not addressing people by their name. Her, she, that one, the boy, all these things. We know what that means. Like, no, maybe the terminology is wrong to say Arun is his slave name, but dismissive names, referring to people in dismissive ways, in ways that belittle them inherently.
Dead naming is kind of what's happened. It's kind of what he's doing to Armand, you know?
Well, and also reminding him that he's a better servant than he is, whatever this is he's pretending to be now. Okay. So we get the beginnings of our Madeline scene, and Judah realizes what's going to happen here, and he turns and he goes, the Nazi sympathizer? Really? Okay. So we get through this scene, and what was going to be done to Madeline is laid bare for us. And at the end, he said, okay, that's terrible. It shouldn't have been done to her. She didn't deserve that. I'm glad that Claudia killed them all, et cetera, et cetera. This does not wash her Nazi sympathizing. And I said, I think that's important. I really do think it's important. This TV series lays plain there are none of our characters with clean hands. Even Daniel, right? Daniel doesn't kill human beings on a nightly basis to survive, where almost all of our other characters do. But
he's left wreckage in his wake.
He's ruined at least 2 daughters, right? Like destroyed their childhood in various ways so that they don't have contact. He's ruined at least 2 marriages, probably. We know it's his fault because he said so. He has had a lifelong problem with addictions of one sort or another. The only thing that he's been consistent on is his work. And he now knows that's the result of some mind washing and mind wiping in the 70s, honestly. So like, yeah, nobody's good here. This Daniel is the one that banged the girl in his teen years with a bag over her head, for instance, while she was crying.
Yeah.
No one's hands are clean.
Yeah.
Claudia is a mass murderer, even though we want to give her the benefit of a doubt because she's a child. No one's hands are clean. That's why I really do think her being a Nazi sympathizer matters. It's important that we feel for her, and yet, right?
Right. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. I mean, we contain multitudes.
Judah's other line around here was, Claudia kills people on a nightly basis, and I like her the most of anybody on this show. That says a lot about the other characters on this show.
Yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I love how calm Claudia is in that scene with Madeline when after she's killed them, and she's like, okay, you need to sit down and I need to clean this up. And then that's something she brings up later when she's talking to Louis. She didn't panic. She didn't freak out. She didn't run. You know, like it was such a great scene, and she had such great Delaney had such great control of that scene. It was really, really cool to see her calm and in charge in a different way than we've gotten to see Claudia before. She made a mess, but she knows how to fix it, you know?
She says it just a little bit later. She says, "I've been a third all my life. I get to pick one thing, and it's her, a weird white lady I met
That's
by
my favorite
happenstance."
line that I met
It's a
by
great line.
happenstance.
It
A
is a
weird
great
white lady
line.
that I met by happenstance.
I
Um,
mean, in some ways, I know that my partner could say basically that same line about me.
I hope
Here's
that I
I
am for
pick
many
him.
people a weird white lady that they met by
And that by
happenstance. I
happenstance.
hope people tell people that have met me at airports are like, "I talked to this weird white lady that I met by happenstance."
Two lines back to back in two different scenes from Louis that I think this episode, maybe more than any of the others, he comes off very unfavorably. First of all, he walks into Armand clearly having some emotional moments and some
Mhm.
turmoil, disregards him completely. Clothes off, face down. You can read them to me while I fuck you. Judah's response, first of all, he gave me a look, and then he says, "The pimp has not left."
Mhm.
And he's absolutely right. This is, again, nobody's hands are clean. I think this episode shows several times, honestly, Louis' callousness.
Oh.
This was he
Whew.
could have gotten the booty without that kind of rudeness and dismissiveness
Yeah.
from Armand. Armand gave it to him anyway, but I'm saying, like,
Well,
you
I
don't
mean,
have to be a
that's her
dick.
thing. I mean,
You don't have
but
to be
I
a
don't
dick to use your dick.
you do not, turns out. You can get a
You
lot of dick
don't
with
always
charm.
you
You can
don't always have to fuck her hard, Ashley.
you don't sometimes you have to fuck her gently.
Sometimes it's not right to do.
Mm-mm.
Okay, man. Okay, so that's the first one. But the second one, though, he busts into the house or to the apartment with Claudia and Madeline, and he points at, she's reading one of your diaries in my coffin. Immediately starts to chew in her. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, she's brought the weird white lady
She's
home, right?
breaking all the rules. Yes, she's broken
Yeah.
all the rules, you know? Yeah, I think the worst thing he says in this entire episode is, "Imagine what I could be without her."
Can you think about me without the burden of her?
That is
And
the
Claudia calls her on it, without the burden of me.
and he's like, "Oh, I was just saying that to convince him." I'm like, you know, you think about that. That's you know when someone says something like that it's true.
So, Judah and I talked about that line a lot. I think there is part of that line that is Louis giving her a kick in the ass to make the leaving easier. But you said the truth. There's a big part of that line that's just true.
Yeah.
Louis is tired of it. Louis is
And it doesn't
tired of
matter.
her angst.
Yeah, every time we go to a new place, you're happy for 2 weeks and then it's this again and you're always going to try to blow it up, you know? And when someone doesn't want
Okay.
you around, you always know. Deep down you know. You know, like there's always part of you that's like they're never going to pick me. I'm never going to be the one. I'm never going to be the one. You know? You just know. And you don't want to admit
Yes.
it. And then when you hear it out loud, you're like, fuck me.
Well, and it's like so many things. Once you've seen it, it can't be unseen. There's not
Yeah.
once it has been revealed to you, and she says it here. I've always been a third. There was never a moment when I wasn't a third for you. Even between Lestat and Armand, I was third for you. There was that dream stat that was holding the place until you filled it with something else, right? And she
Yeah.
doesn't exactly know that, but Claudia does in that moment know I'm never gonna be it, and I never have been it for Louis. And once she knows that, she's got to get out. It's not there is like, and we've talked about it previously. Maybe in decades to come, they could have found, a reconciliation of some sort and formed a broader coven. But they had to have the time apart, and they didn't spend enough of it, sadly.
No. And that's what's I love these scenes with Claudia and Madeline. They're so excellent. that when and with Louis and Claudia and Madeline when they're talking about, he asked, is this a sexual thing? And she's like, no. And then Madeline's like, not yet.
Not yet.
Like, we don't know where
I
this is
love
going. And
Okay,
it's
I
giving
do love
Claudia the
that.
option of a true companion. Like, we don't know where this relationship's going, but I want to be with you. I want to see what happens when we're together.
I love that coming from Madeline, because from her, so Claudia has never let it be that, because until she comes and saves Madeline that night, she, I don't think, had imagined revealing herself to Madeline.
No.
I think she heard it going on, kind of
Yeah,
happenstance, was
she
like,
came
I
to
can fix
rescue and
this.
this just fucking happened.
Yes.
That's how I read that too.
Me
I
too.
don't think it was ever her intention, and this just happened, and it's the timing happens to be pretty good, and she seems chill about me being a vampire.
Yes. And for Madeline, there was chemistry between her and Claudia,
Mhm.
as Claudia had noticed from the other end, but she considered it, fraternal chemistry, just friendship, because of the age discrepancy. But now it's been revealed. This is a
Yeah,
40-year-old woman,
right.
and not just a 40-year-old woman, but a powerful, bold 40-year-old woman who, for whatever reason, saved me from physical violence in a way that gives me boldness and hope that I can grab life by the fucking balls like I've always wanted to,
Yeah,
you know? Anyway, we talk so often about the way that women are freed through the blood. And I think Madeline sees that even before she gets it, which is how she talks to Armand like she does. I don't think there's any, I think Armand is putting out all of the hoodoo that he's got to throw at her, as far as making her aware of his power and his authority and everything that he could bring to bear on her in that room. I think she
yeah.
knows he could snap her like a twig, or set her on fire, or just drain her, or whatever. And yet, she's bold and brassy and laughing. Oh, Claudia, he thinks there's
Oh, that
something
was
left
so
of my
funny.
era.
That
I
was
love
so
that.
funny. When, like, she has an answer to every excuse, every reason he gives her for not becoming a vampire. She has an answer. I mean, she just simply does. Like, no, there is nothing left in this world that I find interesting. you know,
Yeah.
I've seen the fucking worst of it, and I'd like to be part of the rest of it. Thank you.
Now, we know that Daniel is predisposed to be pissed at Armand anyway, but he does call out Armand here for having the conversation about whether or not, Madeline is worthy to be turned.
Mm.
And then
Knowing
saying, well, I've never made a vampire in 600 years. You know what now? Okay, so you were not genuine. You could have
you
mentioned
were,
that before you
yeah,
went into the room
you were
to
never going to do
investigate.
that. You just
Yeah.
fucked with her for a little while. You fucked with the two of them thinking you were going to do it because they thought Louis really thought he was going to.
Yeah. Um okay, the unnecessary cruelty to Claudia. Armand calls Claudia de Leoncourt at one point
Yeah.
because of her um
Her attitude.
chicanery. Yeah. Judah said about the burden of me line, the burden of you line, whatever. He called him Louis de Leoncourt.
Mm.
Um, Armand is so upset hearing Louis describe Madeline's making. When we flip to the flashback and he's talking about that beautiful moment, it, like, you can see it on his face. Armand, it's interesting to me because we know that he's manipulating these situations. We know that there's a whole nother layer
Oh,
even to this that our
Jesus.
boys don't know yet. And still, he really does love Louis. He really does envy the moments of Louis's life that matter, that aren't
Mhm.
about him.
Yep.
The relationship is genuine, even though it's fucked up, Ashley.
And
It's
maybe
sad
too is a little jealous that he didn't have the balls to turn her himself,
to
like, "Oh,
just
you
do
got to
it.
have this cool maybe it's not as bad as I am making it out in my head to be, and you got to have this really cool thing, and you had it with Claudia, and that makes me a little jealous too."
Okay, here's the thing though. If he had made Madeline, then the end of this episode does not happen. A Madeline made by Armand as his first fledgling, a 600-year-old Armand, she does not get taken, and neither
Ooh,
does Claudia.
yeah. Yeah.
That is not a problem.
Well, and that probably
Matro would have had to take them himself.
yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. Actually, taking that into account, he sure as fuck wasn't going to turn her into a vampire.
No, no. Okay. There's a great line. Claudia drank with reverence. I drank with obligation. All right. But even there, though, Louis just, you know,
Just described it as this.
ranted
Yeah.
poetically. Yeah, this
Yes.
beautifully
Yeah.
transcendent experience. Also, he talks about how he sees Claudia as Madeline sees her, resplendent, covered in light, and the light of a midday afternoon that she never could have survived, et cetera, right? All this stuff. And yet he downplays it. Again, it's like, your facial structure, your facial features are playing the truth here, just like with Armand's reaction to his discussion of it. Okay, I think one of the worst lines that Asad has as Armand is right here when he tells Louis, she is a difficult one, but one worth having. After it's done, and Louis has cut his wrists open trying to die, and then he can't, and he's laying there just weak, waiting for Armand to show back up and save him again. Armand must know what's going to happen at that point, because he tells Louis they gave him a choice and he made it. And yet he says that terrible fucking line. Like why would he say that to Louis in that moment?
To throw him off his guard and to make him relaxed and to not see it coming. That's fucked up.
Louis repeats a couple of times in that same scene, though, the fact that what caused him to try to take his life is his lack of reaction to Claudia's exit. Claudia left and he thought, oh, I'll just be desperate. I'll be lost without her. And he did not care. Is that worse when you realize how little you miss somebody? I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, that's a lot. I think that could be a bit of a lie too. Who knows? But yeah, that's awful. You know, like, oh, that makes everything before that seem really meaningless. You know, and even the sacrifice that I made, did I make it for someone I didn't even really care that much about? When really it's probably just inside knowing it's the best thing for her and it's an opportunity for her to live like a fucking a different existence than she's had before, you know? You could have had a healthy response to it, is all I'm
There
saying.
were so many healthy options that you could have taken there, man. Oh, okay. Armand mentions here what he brought with him from the Coven since he's decided to leave and go with
Yes.
Louis. A cutting from a magnolia tree I've been growing. I didn't hear any reaction from Judah on that. I'm very much looking forward if he puts two and two together before the season's over. They gave me a choice. I chose. And we flip to our modern day storyline, and Louis says, "That's what you said, isn't it?" I love Daniel's line. Oh, is there a game being played? He's so
I fucking love Bogosian. He's just the fucking best.
even scared for his life. He's still gonna fuck with this dude a little
Oh.
bit.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't, they'll think something's up.
Armand apologizes. Armand apologizes to Louis here, as he says he's done countless times before. Armand apologizes to Daniel. Daniel says it was 6 days, not 5 or whatever. Belated apology number 2. He does make a good point, though. And we've talked about what possible harm Armand's time with Daniel might have done to him. Someone in the comments on YouTube, I'm not going to go look up the specifics now, but part of their comment was, pretty sure Armand probably gave him some blood along the way, too. So Armand points out here, there's no sharper human mind on the planet. Daniel remembers that it was 6 days, not 5. Corrects Armand. How does he know that? Because of what day Spiro Agnew made an announcement in the 70s when Daniel was a junkie, let's remember. Okay, so Armand's like, hey, maybe don't lay your fucking neurological problems at my feet, actually. You're working just fine.
I didn't break you. I enhanced you.
I will give Armand a little credit on that one, actually. He makes a good point. Okay. It's such a brilliant line from Madeline. Just as the scene shifts, they're all sitting at the table in the restaurant. It's going really lovely.
We're having a lovely fucking time.
Except for those of us who know how this is going to go. And then as Armand gets up and walks away, Louis making jokes about the size of his head, and Madeline says, why don't you want him to know how much you love him? First of all, again, like we've said with Armand, as manipulative as he is, the affection is real. The care and the love that he has for Louis is real. Louis wants to not need Armand, I think. He wants to not care about Armand. He definitely wants Armand not to know how much he cares. And yet the care is real. The love is real and deep, actually. He does like this man. He likes this situation.
Yeah. I do think that's very true. I just think, I mean, I think that the love and lust is 100% there for both of them. They just fuck it all up.
As soon as Armand steps away from the table for the smoke, the music shifts, like dramatically the tone changes. And Judah felt it like it was a barometric pressure drop and he was an old seaman. Like he sat upright.
Storms
and then he leaned forward. He was so upset to realize that someone was about to get attacked, and then shocked by the trial reveal. Just did not expect this at all. Even more shocked by Lestat's presence backstage. When he saw the blonde hair, he leaned so forward. Okay, here's his guess. Judah says that Lestat is going to burn down the theater, that he's going to play along with Armand and the gang and then fight all the vampires and burn down the theater and save everybody. He thinks that Madeline makes it out. He does not have high hopes for Claudia. That's where he's expecting things to go. Update in general, though, I had rewritten the note that Nola had started reading Interview with a Vampire. So now we've got 2 of the children along for the ride.
I love it. It makes me so happy.
And I want your input on this too. She's a precocious child. She is very mature for her age. If she buys into the books and like really takes off and run with them, how long do I make her wait before I let her watch the series?
Not long.
She'll be 13 in the fall. So like, one.
I mean, let's
is that the play?
Let her watch the edited one.
I hadn't thought about that.
But if you need to wait, if it now is Utah gonna have hurt feelings if she's not included, or would she?
I don't think so. I don't know that she would want to watch. I
would just say you should have the same rule for both of them for watching it.
And with the context of the books is my thing. Is like once you've read the books, I think you have a frame.
Let her in the door, Joel. Let her in. Let her in.
Oh, I didn't mention this earlier, but on a slightly self-serving note, Judah is away this week at college. Who could believe it?
So exciting.
He's headed to LSU in the fall. He's going to be studying ecological conservation. We're super excited about him. He's an honors student.
Cool.
Yeah, he's got great scholarships and stuff. If you are interested and you want to say a little congratulations, we're going to have a link for his Cash App in the show notes for this episode.
Fabulous.
And the next couple before he comes on. You can buy him a coffee or a fast food meal while he's down there being a poor college student.
I love it. Oh my God, I totally forgot. I walked out of work the other day and there was a Louisiana Tech University bus in my parking lot.
Nice.
I was like, what is happening? I took a picture.
Up there playing volleyball or something?
No, I think that they might have been visiting the office. Like, I think they must have had some business students visiting the office. But it was really weird. I was like, oh my God, can I have a ride back? I could really, really love to go to Ponchatoula's right now.
My younger son Remy was telling me today, I think you know this band, the band Peelander Z. Do you remember them from your time in Ruston? No,
I do
they are
not.
like a Parliament Funkadelic style intergalactic. They've got a whole storyline going. They're
Excellent.
these intergalactic travelers. Anyway, they're going to be in town, I think Tuesday night when I'm going to see Bob Dylan. Yeah,
You have
that's
a good
right.
week ahead
I'm
of
going
you.
to see
You
Bob
got a good
Dylan this week.
ahead of you.
I do, and it's your birthday this week too. So
Oh, it is. Next
happy
week,
birthday,
yeah.
Ashley. Yeah, before we
It's next
record
week.
again,
It'll be
it'll be
Thursday.
your birthday.
I might get a tattoo.
I am feeling kind of tattoo angsty, honestly. I think sometime between here and when we're in New Orleans again, I'm going to end up with some new ink myself.
Yeah. This will probably open a gate.
We will be wrapping up the series before you know it. Just 2 episodes left in our rewatch of Interview with a Vampire. And then we're going to have...
Good.
Oh, Ashley, in my reaction video for that trailer for the Vampire Lestat, I confused people because I said we've got an episode featuring Jennifer Ehle. I meant we'll discuss her heavily, in that we're going to talk about her Pride and Prejudice movie. Jennifer Ehle is not going to be on the show anytime soon. She's welcome anytime she wants to be. Yeah,
of like,
listen.
Oh my God, I would cry. I love her so much.
You and me both.
I would talk to her about the most obscure shit.
No guest interviews recorded or scheduled anytime soon. However, we will do 3 special episodes in between our rewatch finishing and the Vampire Lestat starting. We're going to do a feedback episode with our with your feedback and prognostications for season 3. We're going to do an episode talking about the 94 movie featuring Judah, my oldest son, who's been watching this show with us. And then we're going to do that episode about Pride and Prejudice from the 90s featuring Jennifer Ehle, not on the episode, but in the movie that we're talking about. There you go.
The series.
Yes. Why are we talking about Jane Austen books? It's because the woman playing...
of Jennifer Ehle.
Yeah, she's going to be in our show as Gabrielle, which, by the way, that trailer features some tongue kissing from Gabrielle.
You kissed your mother with that mouth? And
he did indeed kiss his mother with that mouth.
Yes, indeed.
He did indeed. All right, we will be back before you know it for episode 7 of season 2, Interview with the Vampire. Until then, patrons are going to get our discussion of season 2, episode 1 of Castle Rock. A whole new story has begun over there on Hulu.
Has indeed.
And if you want to catch that, join at articulatecoven.com/join. $2 or more a month gets you access to everything we do early and ad-free. Until we talk to you the next time, we've been your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Thank you for sharing this time with the Articulate Coven. Support the show as either a free or paid member at articulatecoven.com/join. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Find more from the Coven with our sister show, Flan Again, covering the works of Mike Flanagan.